looked at me. Now nobody escapes alive ever again. I never stop hunting. Death follows every step I take. Tonight only one nightmare survives, and that nightmare is me.
Run forever if possible! I always reach my victims eventually!
One side Uber. Jason walks silently through the frozen facility, every heavy footstep shaking the steel floor. Enhanced by futuristic cybernetic reconstruction, he possesses overwhelming strength, incredible durability, and relentless determination. He never rushes. He never hesitates. Every step brings him closer to his next opponent. On the other side, SCP-096 stands motionless inside a shattered containment chamber. Thin, pale, and unnaturally silent, the creature suddenly begins trembling before releasing an earth-shaking scream. Every nearby light flickers violently. Within seconds, complete silence transforms into unstoppable fury as it charges through the frozen corridor. Uber Jason possesses cybernetically enhanced strength, extraordinary durability, and relentless endurance far beyond his original form. Advanced reconstruction transformed him into a nearly unstoppable killing machine, capable of surviving devastating impacts and continuing forward without hesitation. His fighting style is brutally direct, relying on overwhelming force and unbreakable persistence. Throughout his existence, Uber Jason defeated heavily armed soldiers, advanced security forces, and futuristic opponents equipped with powerful technology. Entire combat squads failed to slow his advance, despite overwhelming firepower and carefully planned defenses. During one memorable confrontation, he fought through impossible resistance before overwhelming every remaining defender through relentless physical dominance. Another battle concluded after surviving devastating punishment that would have destroyed almost any other being. Uber Jason never tires, never retreats, and never allows fear to influence his actions. Every confrontation becomes a war of endurance where his physical superiority gradually overwhelms resistance. Combined with immense strength, cybernetic resilience, relentless aggression, and near-indestructible durability, Uber Jason stands among the most unstoppable slasher villains in science fiction and horror. SCP-096 powers, plus past victories, 200 words. SCP-096 possesses extraordinary speed, immense physical strength, and seemingly limitless endurance once fully enraged. Its movements become unbelievably fast, allowing it to close enormous distances almost instantly. During combat, SCP-096 continues advancing regardless of punishment, making it one of the most relentless, anomalous entities ever documented. Throughout containment history, SCP-096 repeatedly broke through reinforced facilities, overwhelmed heavily protected environments, and proved nearly impossible to stop once triggered. Numerous containment attempts failed despite extensive planning and advanced defensive measures. In several incidents, entire response teams were unable to halt its advance before it completed its objective. Its terrifying persistence and overwhelming physical ability consistently demonstrated why it remains among the Foundation's most dangerous anomalies. Unlike ordinary creatures, SCP-096 does not fight for domination or conquest. Once enraged, it simply refuses to stop until the confrontation ends. Combined with overwhelming speed, extraordinary durability, immense strength, and relentless determination, SCP-096 becomes one of the most terrifying close combat opponents imaginable. The frozen containment facility shakes as SCP-096 releases a deafening scream that echoes through every corridor. Uber Jason turns, slowly. Neither monster hesitates. SCP-096 explodes forward with unbelievable speed. The first collision smashes both creatures through. Reinforced steel walls, concrete, collapses, ice shatters. Emergency lights burst overhead. Uber. Jason immediately answers with crushing punches that send SCP-096 crashing into massive containment doors. The creature rises instantly, faster than before. It charges again. The battle tears through laboratories and security. Checkpoints steel. Beams bend beneath repeated impacts. Neither. Monster slows. Punch after punch. echoes through the frozen complex Uber Jason forces the SCP-096 backward using overwhelming cybernetic strength. For several moments, momentum belongs to Jason. Then, the SCP-096 retaliates. It's relentless. Speed begins creating openings. It lands multiple heavy strikes before disappearing down another corridor and charging back with incredible force. The facility begins collapsing around them. Snow pours through shattered ceilings. Warning, sirens fall silent. Jason refuses to retreat. He meets every attack head-on. The final exchange erupts inside the central reactor. Chamber 1 devastating collision sends both monsters through reinforced reactor supports. The room trembles violently. Frozen. Debris rains from above. For several seconds, nothing moves. Then one creature slowly rises while the other remains buried beneath twisted steel and shattered concrete. The Arctic facility finally falls silent as the last emergency lights fade into darkness. Winner, SCP-096. SCP-096 wins because its overwhelming speed, relentless aggression, and extraordinary endurance eventually overcome Uber Jason's immense strength and cybernetic durability. Jason withstands incredible punishment and battles fiercely until the end, but SCP-096's unstoppable momentum ultimately secures victory within the collapsing containment facility.